This is now the 5-minute tarot for the 18th of April 2017, and today it's another card combination. And so I shuffled and picked a card and then another card, and the first card I got was the Four of Swords reversed, and the second one was the Wheel of Fortune, and it was upright. So those are the two cards, and I've got them side by side, and I'm not thinking about a particular question. It's more like a general approach and analysis and what you might say if these two cards came up as the solution or an answer, or maybe they fell out at random. So with the Four of Swords reversed and the Wheel of Fortune, there's a kind of contrast between them, because on the one hand, the Four of Swords reversed looks like a problem or a difficulty or a defect or something not working out because it's upside down, and partly because it's swords, which can represent hardship. Right, so we've got difficulty of some sort, but the other card is Wheel of Fortune, which is cycles and wheels going round, and you can be on the top or you can be on the bottom, but it's a bit like change, but because the card is upright, it looks like positive change or improvement. So with the Four of Swords reversed and the Wheel of Fortune, you've got a problem, but it's going to be okay, is a general kind of statement you can make. So you've got a difficulty, the Four of Swords reversed, but you've got positive change coming up or behind. Or maybe we look at the problem as just being part of a larger cycle shown by the Wheel of Fortune. So I was wondering about the one way to describe this, and if you've ever driven a car with a manual transmission, you know you change gear manually. And if you don't get the clutch and your foot right, you can grind the gears. And if you've ever done it, you know how annoying it is, how the sound that it makes, the noise, and the scrunching of the gears. So it's a bit like with the Four of Swords reversed is you miss a gear change and there's a crashing, right? But the Wheel of Fortune, you miss a gear change, but it's going to be okay. And it's not something to agonize over, because just sometimes you miss a gear change or you stall you stall the car instead of taking off from traffic lights, let's say. So things can go wrong, but it happens sometimes, and you don't think too much about it. Maybe you become alert, but it's not the kind of thing that you agonize over and you beat yourself up about. So the Four of Swords reversed and the Wheel of Fortune, you miss a gear change, but it's going to be okay. Whereas if we'd got the Four of Swords reversed and the wheel reversed, then you've got a much more awkward, difficult, maybe problematic situation. So you miss the gear change, but something gets broken. So you have to, instead of being able to drive on, you're going to have to pull over to the side of the road because something's broken or something has to be fixed. And it's more serious, the difficulty shown by, let's say, the Four of Swords reversed. So it could be, the question could be about relationship, in which case you're going to have an argument and it's going to be an important, serious argument. So you can't just have an argument and 2 minutes later it's all forgotten about. It's going to be a problem, but you're going to have to fix it. Or if it's a business situation, something will go wrong. Maybe a delivery goes wrong, or an order is mistaken, or you send the wrong stuff. But it's not just a little glitch. It's a bit like you then need to look at the whole procedure for taking orders, because something is basically not right with your order taking system. And if you don't fix it, it's going to get worse. It's certainly going to happen again, but it's going to get worse. Or with health, let's say something happens and most of the time you can ignore it because, we're under the weather sometimes. It doesn't mean anything. But with the Four of Swords reversed and the wheel reversed, then you should go and get it checked out. Because the idea is, I'm thinking with combinations, if you mix blue and yellow, you get green. So you can have bluish yellow or yellowish blue, but you've also got this other color called green. And if you get a flat board and put some legs on it, you've got the board and you've got the legs, but the two together make a table. And that's the kind of thing I'm thinking of with card combinations. You've got the Four of Swords reversed, and you've got the wheel. Those are the two ingredients, or the two bits and pieces. What do you get when you put them together? In the same way, the board and the legs equal a table. Maybe with the Four of Swords reversed and the wheel upright, what the combination is, you say to the person, you're going to miss a gear change in some way, but it won't matter. And that's the combination of these two particular cards. A second point I thought of was that if you look at the picture of the Four of Swords, the swords have been installed on the wall, or they've been hung up, but it's upside down. So it's as if the swords that ought to be on the wall and no longer in use have been taken down. So you should be resting maybe, but you couldn't leave it alone. Or you didn't want to be passive and let things develop. So you thought you were going to mix it up. You were going to get things going again. You were going to try and do something to make the thing happen quicker, let's say, from the Four of Swords. But it's reversed, so it didn't work. But if you look at the Wheel of Fortune at the top, we've got this Sphinx character holding us. The same thing, it's a sword, but he's holding it not in ready to use it, but it's over on an angle, as if he's cradling it, as if the sword has its place, but it's time for a rest. So it can be that with the Four of Swords reversed, you want to put energy into something and make it go again. But the Wheel of Fortune, the Sphinx on top, is saying, let it be, let it go. So somebody or something is going to remind you to settle down and let life flow. Because life is going to do what life wants to do, and you're part of it. So it's a bit like with the Four of Swords reversed, let life do what it wants to do and cooperate with it, because it's bigger and stronger than you. So right now, because we've got the Four of Swords reversed in the wheel, right now, don't fight it. And things will go well. And the other thing is, we can look at the Four of Swords. The sword can be an approach to a situation or an approach to a problem. And because it's a sword, you maybe want to handle it in an aggressive way. So take the bull by the horns, or get in there and get it done and really mess things up and so on. Because sometimes that works and it's effective to take control and enforce your own will and make other people and situations conform to what you want. And that works sometimes. But the fact the Four of Swords is upside down, that kind of aggressive, determined approach, that's the wrong way to go, because it's upside down. But if you look at your desire to be in control and see that desire as part of a larger cycle, that's what's going on with it. So your desire to be in control is okay. It's maybe not appropriate right now, but instead of having to have it all or nothing, if you understand that sometimes having things your way is just part of a larger cycle, it's going to happen and then it's not. And it'll be appropriate, then it's not. And you'll get cooperation from other people, then you won't. And everything goes through its cycle. So with this Four of Swords reversed and the wheel upright, it's a bit like things go wrong, but it happens sometimes. So rather than being upset or overly annoyed about things going wrong, recognize that, it's part of life. Things go wrong. And at the same time, things go well. So it's up to you to decide, are you going to concentrate on what's going wrong? Or are you going to concentrate on what can be right? And so this is a bit of a stretch, but I came across this quote and I thought it was really good. And it may be appropriate for the solution or the antidote to this Four of Swords reversed in the wheel. And this is from Poor Robin's Almanac from 1669, which is like 250 years ago. And okay, you get minced pies where it's like a pie, a pastry shell, and in it you put raisins and sultanas and bits of lemon peel or orange peel and so on, and sugar, and it's a minced pie. And you put it in the oven and so on. So the quote from Poor Robin's Almanac is, "Minced pies do not grow upon every tree, but search the ovens for them, and there they be." So maybe the antidote to this Four of Swords reversed in the Wheel of Fortune is look for solutions in the right place, or don't look in the wrong place for anything. Okay, that was probably longer than 5 minutes, but hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, bye-bye.